Great Britain is not only about castles, queens, and endless tea parties. It is a country where people sincerely believe that any absolute madness automatically becomes a sacred cultural heritage if repeated without changes for at least 500 years. Forget about boring parades and historical reenactments. Today we dive into the aesthetic of true English folk madness, from chasing cheese to charming earthworms. Welcome to the roadside of British traditions. Chasing the cheese. Gravity is a fundamental law of physics that the English have decided to officially ignore. Every year, hundreds of brave enthusiasts gather on Cooper's Hill to take part in the most unpredictable gastronomic race. The rules are extremely simple. A judge releases a 4-kilogram wheel of double Gloucester down an almost vertical slope. The cheese accelerates to 100 kilometers per hour, and a crowd of people throws themselves into the steep descent after it, losing control of their bodies. Visually, this looks like a scene of a massive stunt fair. Participants tumble, fly into the air, and epically land in the mud. The winner is the first person to cross the finish line at the bottom, even if they do so completely exhausted. The main prize for this extreme test of endurance is that very piece of cheese. This is the perfect metaphor for the British spirit, an absolute dedication to the moment in order to preserve an ancient yet completely illogical local tradition. The Pearly Kings. London's East End hides one of the most dazzling subcultures in the world. At the end of the 19th century, local street vendors decided to create their own street aristocracy to help the poor and stand out from the gray crowd. They began embroidering their strict classic suits with thousands of shiny mother-of-pearl buttons. Each pattern had a special meaning. Anchors symbolized hope, while crosses spoke of faith. This turned the clothing into heavy armor made of sparkles. Today, the Pearly Kings and Queens look like a sparkling community from the Victorian era. Their ceremonial suits weigh up to 30 kilograms. When this shiny procession takes to the city streets, it instantly blinds all the passers-by. They dedicate their lives to charity, raising money for hospitals and shelters. This is an amazing example of how ordinary market people manage to create a tradition that looks more luxurious and brighter than the wardrobe of actual monarchs. The mud swim. Water sports are usually associated with crystal clear pools and blue ocean waves. But in Wales, they decided this was far too boring. They invented a snorkeling championship right in the center of a thick, freezing peat bog. For the competition, a 50-meter trench is dug in the mud. Participants put on masks, snorkels, wetsuits, and flippers. Their task is to swim this distance against the clock without using traditional swimming styles like crawl or breaststroke. Visibility in this brown sludge is absolutely zero. Swimmers navigate purely by touch, periodically splashing in the swamp water. Spectators on the shore joyfully support the brave daredevils, bogged down in the dense layer of peat and silt. Many participants start the race in absurd carnival costumes, wyodeing worn over their life jackets. It is a dirty, cold, and incredibly fun challenge that turns an ordinary puddle into an arena for international sports glory. Worm hunters. There are thousands of ways to interact with nature in the world, but the British Worm Charming Championship exceeds all expectations. This is an officially recognized sport where participants try to persuade invertebrates to crawl to the surface. Each team is allocated a square meter of land. Within 30 minutes, they must extract as many worms as possible without using shovels or water. The charmer's main weapon is creating acoustic vibrations that mimic the heavy sound of rain. People stick metal pitchforks into the ground and methodically strike them with wooden sticks. Some take a more creative approach, playing saxophones, tambourines, or blasting heavy rock through portable speakers pointed directly at the soil. The record for this strange competition is hundreds of rescued worms in half an hour. After weighing and counting, all the underground residents are carefully returned to the soil. It is a triumph of human persistence. and absolutely crazy excitement. The straw bear. Winter festivals usually delight us with bright lights and cozy fairs. But in the English countryside, there is a holiday that looks more like a surreal dream. In January, the streets of small towns are taken over by a giant walking haystack. The tradition dictates choosing a strong man and literally dressing him in an incredibly heavy suit made of stiff straw. This prickly outfit covers the person from head to toe, leaving only tiny slits for breathing and minimal vision. The straw bear wanders from door to door, accompanied by musicians and locals. Its main task is to dance clumsily in front of the audience, portraying a wild beast. For this exhausting performance, it is rewarded with pints of beer. At the end of the festive day, this prickly suit is ceremoniously removed and left until the next year to symbolically open the way for spring. This is a perfect example of rural magic, a little madness or a lot of straw, and genuine crowd fun. The ugliest face. Modern society is obsessed with beauty standards and social media filters. The British decided to go in the exact opposite direction. They created the World Gurning Championship, where the main goal is to look as unusual as possible. This tradition dates back to the 13th century. Participants take the stage, put a massive horse collar around their necks, and begin to distort their faces beyond recognition. Muscles cramp from tension, and eyes practically pop out of their sockets. Professional athletes in this genre take radical measures. Some winners use their unique anatomical features to the maximum, letting their lower jaw freely overlap their nose, creating a truly astonishing and surreal facial masterpiece. The jury evaluates the degree of transformation and artistry. This is a unique competition, one that blurs the lines between comical and frightening. The championship proves that the ability to laugh at one's own appearance is true self-confidence. The horn dance. If you are looking for something truly mystical, head to Staffordshire. Every autumn, a ritual takes place there that visually resembles a scene from an expensive folk legend movie. It is an ancient dance, performed in absolute silence. 6 grown men pick up giant reindeer antlers, weighing up to 11 kilograms. These artifacts date back to the 11th century and are kept in the local church as the town's greatest and most untouchable sacred relic. The dancers, dressed in bizarre medieval costume, form a line and begin their slow, hypnotic march. They walk 16 kilometers through fields, courtyards, and narrow streets, periodically crossing the massive horns in the air. The procession moves smoothly and gracefully, creating the atmosphere of an ancient pagan trance. There is no aggression or fuss in this dance. It is pure visual art that connects modern people with the forgotten spirits of the deep English woods. Great Britain proves that traditions do not have to be boring and pretentious. Whether it is running from a rolling cheese or swimming in a freezing bog or hypnotic dances with horns, it is a sincere celebration of eccentricity and love of life. Behind the prim facade hides a nation that knows how to have fun like no other. If you are ready to risk your suit to participate in these rituals, welcome. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our new investigations.